better help me.
You shoot it!
No!
Last player standing.
You don't get to talk to me like that. Shoot it! Oh my god, am I playing as like children right now? What is going on?
One enemy remaining.
That's three.
What did I do to you? What?
Yet. Can we celebrate that?
You're watching me full box.
It's not my problem.
Push up. Push up.
Maybe it should be your fucking problem on the bottom of the leaderboard, bro. Holy, please hit your shot.
Oh, and imagine having an ego so big that all you care about is being on the top of the leaderboard.
Whoa, hit your shots, please. Holy.
And lower your ego. You might get out of silver with a smaller ego, bro. Come and see hard push, 3 of them.
Kill. See, Rage, you shouldn't have made fun of me, alright?
You shouldn't have been rude to me, telling me, "Oh, break it!" Oh my god, like, are we a child? Are we children?
Is that me being rude? Giving a calm?
That's not a calm, bro. Like, be honest with yourself. That's not a calm.
Close up, close up.
You actually might be the biggest snowflake I've ever met. Like, actually.
Last player
Your name.
standing.
Holy hell. I just watched
Yeah, you
both my
guys are
teammates get domed.
Shut up, Bader.
What did you just say?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. 0% accuracy rating. 0% accuracy rating.
0%, bro. You're so right, bro. That's so
bad,
my
bro.
fault for that round.
Anyways,
bro.
back to
my bad, bro.
discussion. Love and Raze, you guys are both top. I don't know how you guys are arguing who's better at a video game. You're both ugly as shit.
Bro, we can really run the face guard, bro. I don't care.
You ain't running nothing, boy. You can't even run a marathon.
Bet.
The lies
Add
are
that.
insane.
That's my Discord. Add that.
Alright, bro.
You should too, Raze, because you sound a little bit big. You sound a little bit hefty on your feet. Hefty on your feet. You got a strong base,
Added you.
bro. I can just tell you got a really strong base, Jet. Or not Jet, fucking.
Yeah, keep stuttering, bitch. Your dad wants me. Your dad wants me bad. All right. Keep yourself in check. Keep yourself in check, bro. I'm gonna hit up your dad. I'm gonna call him, and he's gonna want that. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Maybe in the next life, Raze. Shut your bitch.
Maybe in the next life. Shut the fuck up, Clove. Fucking ego. Who cares if you're top frag? We all know in this game, if you're top frag, it has nothing to do with being good at the game.
Last player
Ryan's
standing.
actually angry over a video game. Watch out.
He's the one who started it,
Hey,
bro.
no
I'm just
troll, I also
finishing
added
it,
you
bro.
on Discord,
Shut the fuck up out of my ears, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh my god, man. Child is insulting me. I'm so offended.
Bro, Raze. Get off the fucking internet, bro. Because you can't even take like a little bit of.
Yeah, Raze, for
Get
real.
off the
I told you
internet.
to
Get off the
put
internet because I'm
wall
defending
in front of
myself.
that.
Yeah, because you're intimidating me in a video game. And I'm not gonna take that shit, bro.
No, Raze, you're getting mad over someone saying break the wall. Like, what
With an attitude, mind you, with an
Let's maybe
attitude, and
grow
I don't
up.
take
Let's
that.
maybe
I don't
grow up,
let.
Raze.
Maybe grow up?
Raze,
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
You're the one who's whining like a little bitch when someone's not breaking the fucking deadlock wall. Maybe you shouldn't have stood there, and maybe deadlock wouldn't have trapped you there, bitch. Ever thought about that? Like, take some accountability, bro. It's not gonna get you out of bronze.
What, you're
That's for
7 and
fucking sure.
13 talking about take accountability. Girl, are you insane? Are you
Oh my
insane,
god,
girl?
oh my god, like kill count matters, bro. In this game, it literally doesn't matter.
what? This guy's on Duelist 7 and 13, bro.
Spike
It's
planted.
disgusting.
These guys are so weird.
Fucking crybaby bitch. Crybaby like bitch.
Like, you know it's over when Raze is live. You just know it's over.
Yeah, but when I'm alive.
Player
one of
standing.
Screw that.
Nice head.
Team A.
Oh fuck, Raze, get out of my fucking ear.
Honestly, it's Raze's fault. Like, let's just be so real.
Literally, bro. Raze was breathing too loud. This fucking fat ass piece of shit.
You can hear her calories exiting her body.
Actually, we're gonna stay up till 6 a.m. Donut. Gonna pull an all-nighter, bro. Like,
Oh my god,
Raze,
bro. Honestly, if I was Raze,
I know
I'd,
you're
just,
top,
I'd,
bro.
I'd end it all after this. Like, low key.
They said- They say they
I
know
don't
that
think
I'm
it's
Get out
shocked.
your face, Raze, bro. Cause I'm gonna show Chloe if he's ugly as fuck. And I'm gonna show you. I want to show you, Raze, that you're ugly as shit too. You fucking fat ass.
Dropping smokes.
I'm not even gonna comment.
You will not kill my ally.
I'm not even gonna comment.
You guys fucking suck.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
They better be glad I'm not in the game.
This guy's in the fucking court. Fuck you, Raze.
They don't want to see the dog in me.
Yo, Raze.
Raze, are you ready to apologize to me yet? There's honestly. a lot of
Apologize to a
feelings.
guy who's gonna be 40, no kids, no parent, nothing. You're gonna be single till you're 40. Nothing, bro.
I'm 18, bro. I'm 18.
You're 18, yeah, with that attitude, no girl's gonna ever want to touch you with a
Dude, I
10-foot
just got
pole,
an
bitch.
I just got my first internship yesterday.
Oh,
For
lovely. And
programming
I hope,
online. Like, let me
I
live my life. Bro.
Yeah,
Let
okay,
me
bro.
do my thing. I know you're jealous. It's all good. It's all good.
and
bro.
I know you're jealous that you can't
Ugly
be
as
like
fuck,
me.
bro. You're ugly as fuck. End of discussion.
You're ugly as fuck. Yeah, okay, that's the only insult you can come up with. Maybe come from my personality or something. Be creative,
Are you
bitch.
denying it? Are you denying it though? Are you denying it? No.
It's fine.
You're fucking-
It's fine.
I don't
with me.
need male approval if that's what you're saying. I know I'm a 10 out of 10,
You're a
bro.
liberal, aren't you? You
A
fucking loser.
liberal, oh my god.
You're a fucking liberal,
A
aren't you?
liberal.
Joe Biden.
Oh,
Liberal
Joe
with
Biden,
blue
you should
hair and
say
tattoos. Oh my god, God forbid.
Fucking chopped ass liberal. Fucking ugly piece of shit. You fucking
trying to vote whoop the president, bro. You trying to vote on a downfall, gang?
And where is that getting you guys, huh? Worst mental health. Worst mental health.
Raise, bro.
Worst
What are
mental
you on
health,
about,
bro.
mental health?
Shut up, bro.
We're not little pussies, bro. Come on. Like, lock in.
You seem like a pussy. You keep yapping to me.
Out of charge.
You fucking
Raise,
eat
it's
pussy.
okay,
Fucking
bro. I
pussy.
know you play teams and you still can't get any play, bro. It's okay.
One enemy remaining.
I don't. Thankfully, I don't need play like you guys might need it.
I know you're a lonely
Bro, what
fuck,
do you
bro. I
want,
know you
bro?
sit on Discord all day, you fat bitch.
Discord.
Bro,
Damn.
At least I don't use Discord to talk to little girls.
God
I don't
damn.
use Discord. I use Skype actually. You fucking believe? No one cares, bro. Like, no one cares.
I know
if
your
you use
feet
the
have no
communication,
veins,
bro.
bro. You little fucking grape toe motherfucker.
No, bro. What happened, bro? What happened? What happened?
No, bro, Raze, you're just fucking, just kill yourself like that ass. Like I'm being so honest.
Raise, your existence pisses me off. You make me want to redo the Holocaust just on you.
You want to play?
Oh my
Let's
God.
play.
Surely they stop laughing when I show them the riot buddy. Surely they stop laughing when I show them who's in charge. Just kidding. Why do they talk like that, bro?
Yo, Raise, I can hear you breathing, bro. Get the fuck out my ear.
Backside, backside.
I cannot focus.
Spike planted.
Are they roasting you? Because
That's a wall
I
right there.
defended them.
A full
Because I
box right
defended
there.
myself.
Raise, we do realize we have satchels, right?
Full util? Full util?
Oh my god.
That's a
Oh
wall?
my god. How did you miss your ult? Oh my
That's
god.
a
Oh my god, shut up! You're dead and I'm alive, shut up!
Okay, you're fat and I'm not.
And oh my god, such a creative, oh my god, so
Raze.
creative. Your mom must be so proud of you right now.
How your entire personality just comes. You went, how creative. You know why? You're fat as fuck. And it's not even like.
That's not something that would offend me. At least I'm eating good and you're not.
Quit telling me to get
I could
creative with my
tell.
insults.
I could
Creative,
tell,
creative,
bro. I
creative.
could tell you're struggling. You know what?
Go face to face.
I normally don't do charity, but what's your cash app? Let me send you
Body
something.
weight for body weight
If you're
right
not
now.
eating a
Body
lot,
weight
like,
for
just
body
tell
weight.
me. Like, I'm here for you.
Guys,
Don't
I know
worry.
your BMI is 70, bro. Don't talk to me.
Seems like you don't eat
Kid
enough.
hasn't had his blood pressure tested in
I know
years.
your body fat percentage is above 100, bro. Don't talk to me.
You know, I know that you don't get bitches. You could just tell by the way you
I
talk.
actually do.
The way you're talking in the
Oh.
mic, I could just tell.
You're
I
fine.
will go bitch.
the way you're
I can guarantee you right now.
Thank you for the
my
army guy.
10 times better than yours. You fucking shot piece of shit.
I'm not
I
chopped.
know
If
you
your
sit
dad
your
wants
ass like a
me.
fat pig and eat bacon, bro.
Let me have your dad's phone number.
Good piggy, bro. Good piggy.
Let me have your dad's phone number. I'm sure he'll love me.
No, he doesn't like fat bitches.
Yeah.
On
yeah,
God.
I'm sure
Oh,
he doesn't
when
like
he
that
sees me,
overweight,
he'll love
bro.
me. I'm just
Raise,
gonna
you're
let you
5
know.
pounds away from my 600-pound life. Don't talk to
Jesus,
me.
maybe rotate to the other site.
Let's maybe not backseat, cause you know, where's they
No,
gotta get
backseat.
you in the
I'm
game?
in 16.
Bro,
I need
you're in
to.
the
I might
backseat
need
of your
to.
mom's car eating hotcakes and fucking fun, you fat piece of shit.
Facts,
Y'all are
you a waste
just giving them pics off
And
of
you
A.
a
You're
waste
not
of
even defending the site.
shit.
You're 9 and 16.
You're
Why
dead
are
and
you
I'm
talking-
not.
Spike planted.
You're fat and I'm not.
You're dead and I'm not.
gay and I'm not. You're fucking black and I'm not.
What are you doing, bro? Like, what am I looking
Out
at?
of charges. Last player standing.
You're
I
so
haven't
fucking
seen
fat.
game IQ like yours in a million years. You have the amount of brain IQ as a fucking monkey, nigga.
Ooh.
Yo, he
I
just
don't even
called
know
you
what's
an
going on.
eight. You didn't even- I mean, you look like a fucking eight.
You genuinely
Ooh.
function like a Neanderthal.
I'm so
Please get
offended
some
when a
IQ.
man comments on the way I look.
One enemy remaining.
It like really hurts me deeply. Like this is gonna sit with me.
You're right,
I'm gonna need to go get psychological help after this.
You need it anyway, you fat bitch, bro.
I mean, clearly with the way you guys are talking to me right
Can I
now.
recommend you to my personal trainer, bro? Can I recommend you to my personal trainer?
Can I recommend you to shut the fuck up? Thanks.
Bro, Ray,
Oh, her feelings got hurt. Her feelings got hurt, guys.
Yeah,
I need
like
to
my feelings would get hurt by a man,
I
sure.
know that one hurt, bro. I know that one hurt. I know that
Yeah,
one
this is totally hurting my feelings right
Your
now.
father left
Like,
you,
no,
your
this is
father
just
issues,
comedy
that's
to
why
me,
you're so
honestly.
mad. You have daddy issues.
Bro,
You have
you
daddy.
eat more than a
father left.
6'8" man. You
I don't
fucking
have daddy issues. You clearly do.
How?
I have weight issues,
How?
girl.
Cause
have
cause
weight
you're talking
issues.
about me like
You have
this.
heart issues, fat bitch.
Yo,
You
Raise,
have
Raise, listen. Oink for me, fat piggy. Go ahead.
All right.
Fucking Tubby McGee.
Bro, your chair's on life support, bro. Please get a new one.
My chair is worth 1,600. What's your chair worth, huh?
Oh,
Bro,
yeah,
1,600 pounds? 1,600 max weight? But
Reinforce that?
$1,600 you'll never see in your life, bro.
Did you have to armor up your chair? Well, how is it 16?
those,
Did you have to buy yours off of Amazon? Oh, bufu, bitch.
Bro, reinforce this chair.
What is yours from? Wish.com, bitch? Shut the fuck up.
Just about as fuck.
Titanium legs.
Yo, big ass.
Bro needed Flex It Felix to make that shit.
Yeah, my chair costs $1,000 because I'm fat as shit. That's the only thing.
I need the weight support.
Yeah, you have like a what, fucking 90-inch waist.
Out of
Blah,
charges.
blah, 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 blah.
Hey, my name is Rick. I sit on Valorant all day and I'm fat as shit.
And up.
Like, Raise, I know you're out of breath from the game, bro. It's okay.
Satchel out. 30 seconds left.
I saw something there.
Spike planted.
They are very. Are you guys done?
No.
You done with your tantrum?
Get out my ear, bitch.
You finished eating. Yeah, I will be.
The fuck in my room is shaking actually with you walking
Seven,
around.
You were the reason Taco Bell's 24/7, you fat bitch.
Try on DoorDash right now.
Oh god, DoorDash is already on the way.
Deciding how much we see you right now.
One enemy remaining.
Your server time?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
Potentially.
I think I'll
Honestly.
dial it back today. Maybe just 3 kilos today.
It's just something slight for the day, guys.
It's about community
Something
for
like
you? Yeah. Bro's talking about an internship.
I'm gonna
Try
I'm not trying to-
dumpster burrito and cheese sauce.
I hope they know that what they're saying right now is all being recorded. And that their digital footprint is actually real, like, and then I hope that it comes out one day.
The back
Request,
is
Cove, request. I'll buy it,
filled
I'll
with
buy it.
fast food.
They got nothing better to do,
Fast food
real.
Appreciate you.
Dance.
It's because you know what started it? It's because I'm bottom this is why girls don't talk when they're bottom fragging because
Nice.
I was bottom fragging and Chamber was trapped within a sage wall and a deadlock wall. And he was like, and I was just, I was looking a clear sight, and he's like, break it! And I'm like, I don't know, break it? You, it's talking to me like I'm like his servant. Hell no. I said no. I'm being a whiny ass bitch.
Like I never left.
That's why they're mad at me now. And then Clove started stepping in and starting defending his bitch ass. Look. That's bronze dealer for ya.
Holy hell, you useless piece of shit.
And now they're telling me to unalive myself.
Oh yeah.
That's what triggered
Bro,
them?
actually can't do anything for the team.
Raze actually went crazy that round, guys. Hold up,
I
hold
mean,
up.
dude, she
I
can't
need to
even
thank her
walk
for the
a mile.
carry. She can't even crawl a mile, bro. Need the wheelchair for that, bro.
God, you run a mile for a cheeseburger if I asked you, bro.
She would, she would.
Oh my god, dude, you know what
And now
Raze
they're
is like?
being
I'm gonna hop on Raze like a
FOB?
Minecraft piggy and throw a fishing rod with a little
Throw a little
Carrot on
bugger
the
in front of her,
lead.
bro, and she's gonna start running, bro.
Like, this is genuinely what makes them excited and
Bro,
happy.
I'm gonna be like in Minecraft, bro.
Like, that is the most biggest
Right
red
at the pig.
flag. If you ever know what a red flag is.
Oh, I just got shit on.
Thank you. Thank you for the 100 bits, Rage. All this shit's reportable? Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna keep provoking them. Let me pull up the rage bait
Yeah.
TikTok.
Is
How to rage
Oink,
bait
oink, oink.
men.
Oink oink, C bomb site.
Where's the TikTok? Hold on, I got it. One sec.
Oh my god, Haru, nice flick.
Oh, let me get the list. Let me get the rage bait list. One moment.
Ready, TP.
One enemy remaining.
Playing man,
Oh, thank you.
Nice old bro.
man. Yo, you're definitely not a bomber, bro. Yeah, you're for sure not a bomber. Oh, is that a picture of you in real life? Wow. Yeah, you're definitely.
You
not
sound like you're
skinny.
high, bitch.
Definitely not skinny, that's for sure.
Did you just say you sound like you're high?
You sound like your height is way lower than 5'6",
Why are you
bro.
stuttering, you stupid bitch?
Holy
Why are you
hell,
fucking
dude,
talking to me
you're
like that,
actually
huh?
putting your voice
Why are you talking to me like that? I know your mother doesn't love you. I know your mother doesn't love you. And I know you're taking it out on me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your mother doesn't love you. Figure it out. Figure it out. Get therapy.
Convert, bro.
Raze, can we try to go positive on the video game?
Can we try? Try not to be cringe. Challenge impossible. Little PP. Shrimp ass bitch. Anyway. Alright. Thank you for the idea.
Girls who have like a buzz cut or some shit to like.
You have blue hair and a
I don't know how to do comebacks, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do comebacks. I'm just like surprised that they're so triggered by
Oh my
me.
god,
That's
Ghost,
Spike.
you're my
That's
king, bro,
Spike.
holy.
Touch spike. One more C.
Sorry, what you-
It's a 1v3, bro, good luck.
Last player standing.
Oh, now
Oh.
it's 0v4.
It's a 0v4. I didn't know we could do 0v4s. Oh, that's an
Retard
enemy
of the
player right
century
there.
here, bro.
Yeah,
Where
that's
you
an enemy
jumping
right there.
You're so stupid. You are
Oh,
so
good one, bro. Holy shit.
That's a player right there.
Called them, bro. My old grandma could play better than you.
God.
Switching sides. Overtime.
What else? You're gonna be racist, sexist? What else? Homophobic? What else?
All of it, bro. Shut up.
All of it? Yeah, keep it going. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
fucking
Like,
goddamn Indian.
What else? What else? You gonna say slur? What's else? What's else? Come on.
keep coming.
Hit me. Hit me.
Is that what you tell the buffet? Is that what you tell the buffet? Keep it coming. Give me another
Please don't
plate.
stop. Please don't stop, guys.
Stack him up. Stack him up. Stack him up.
You know I don't have a
All
lot of
you
food
can
at.
do restaurant and run them out.
You run them straight out of business. That's what you run out of.
Bro, I would say you run, but nobody in your family runs, you fat fuck.
Yeah, because being fat phobic is so cool nowadays, huh?
It
It
runs
is,
to
bro.
McDonald's.
It is.
Surely we're gonna get a girlfriend like this. Surely.
I have one.
Dude,
Yeah, you have one? Bet she doesn't love you, and she doesn't love
I do have
herself.
one.
GG's,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
cooked.
That's crazy because I fucked her
He
today.
doesn't love you.
Oh, yep. And
What's love?
she hears you talking about yeah, surely.
Shut the fuck up, Cudry. You can't even talk right.
You can't even talk to a woman, right? That's how I know your marriage is gonna end up in divorce, bitch.
I got more
14-year-old
hubs on my
boy.
phone.
One enemy
Oh my god, who's in my phone? Yeah.
There's-
Man whore.
There's
Good luck with
Damn,
that.
alright, okay.
You're just mad you can't get dick, bro.
I'm so confused. Fucking soft ass bitch, bro. I'm actually done with these bitches. They actually make me
Oh,
so
you know what has her
angry.
confused? What has her confused? Her reading the calories on the back of the boxes that she eats? Yeah. That's hella confused.
How do they add up?
Why are the numbers so high, guys?
No, you know what I know?
Hey,
Raze
you
does? She
tried
probably,
something called calorie tracking, bro? I know you
Yeah,
have.
for real, you need the tracker.
Please track them shits every time you breathe. It's 300 calories.
fucking drinks vegetable oil like it's fucking water. Fat ass piece of shit.
Still in sight.
I know your
Hey.
favorite snack is butter with fucking marinara sauce, you fat fuck.
How do you know that though, huh? Is that cause
Oh
it's
my
you?
God. Is it true?
No, no.
Is it
it's
true?
Because I can hear it in your voice every time
I
you
can
speak.
just tell
I
off
can
your
smell the
throat,
bacon
like
next
your
to the
neck
mic.
fat. I can hear your neck fat wiggle every time you speak.
I know you have a turkey gobbler, bro. Don't lie to me.
I can tell you have a big big ass
Big
fucking
dick,
ego,
big dick,
bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big ass
No,
fucking ego for what? What's it gonna
Yeah,
yeah,
we
what's
do,
that gonna
we
do
do.
for you, bro?
Because I'm
Big-
better looking than you. That's
And
why
I got
fuck
bitches
with
Better
you.
looking than me? I don't care. You know,
I don't care.
Yeah.
You obviously do. So replying, fucking dumb dyke bitch.
Hey, stairs. He's gonna come help her.
If you didn't care, Nagi, mute us half the game ago.
Spike
I mean, no, they
planted.
wouldn't have even like spoken in the first place if they didn't care.
But,
They would have just ignored it. But they got so angry. They were like screaming earlier.
hey, chill. Play numbers.
Reloading.
I'm gonna smoke upstairs.
guys, I'm too like I don't know how to do comebacks to be honest. I lost my comebacks because I stopped playing COD.
Last player
Yeah,
standing.
it's fair.
I lost my
Mhm.
comeback skills. What happened? Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the roses. Yeah, this is ranked. That's what happens when you defend yourself and you're bottom fragging.
Bro, what a loser.
Besides, they had that wall. If they didn't have the wall, they would have won that.
The worst you can do is stutter. I already have a stutter. Can't do anything about
At
that.
least Raze has to deal with my the shit talking
Overtime.
a little bit more. Anyways, Raze.
These parasites aren't gonna take one step past this place. Reloading.
Raze, is this like the daily occurrence for you? Just getting made fun of all the calories you intake?
Yeah, you sure would
Bro,
love to
my
know, huh?
monitor just fell on its side, bro. My monitor just fell on the
Oh,
side of the
no.
message you
Yeah,
typed, you fat fuck.
Oh my boy, a couple $100. 'cause
Every
I-
time you pop up on the side of my screen talking, bro, my monitor gets weighed down.
Raze, we're going A, not C. Yeah, come on, buddy.
Come on. You can
See
do
for
it. You can
calories.
do it.
fucking fat
You
piece
can
of
do
shit.
it, buddy. He's looking
Oh
at the
my.
calories. He's trying to eat the enemies, bro.
Trying to eat the bomb.
Thank you for the 5. Thank you for the gifted rage.
There's actually no way.
Spike down. A.
How did he not die on full screen?
It's okay, we gotta trade.
I feel like my sens is really
Nice
high
go.
for some reason.
Grenade.
Raze, do you have like schizophrenia, bro? Who are you fighting at me?
Battle out.
It's fighting his demons.
Holy hell,
Calorie
dude.
demons.
He's so shit.
They're giving you comebacks? Nah, bro, I'm not gonna win. I don't even think talking to them is good. It's just kind of like, it's just class. I mean, it's just, they're not
Definitely
even
safe.
creative with their comebacks, so
Actually, no.
it's fine.
Nice. Sage was lasting B.
Hold water, hold my water.
Spike planted. My ult is ready.
Nah, because when it comes to these type of games, I don't even like trying. Mute and play
Hold main,
K-pop?
hold main, I'll hold water.
No, I'm not gonna mute
No one's
them.
inside with you except
I
me.
want the world to see how terrible they are to people like me.
Nice.
He's water.
Because I defend myself one time.
I'm
I
just-
kid you
no,
not.
yeah, I'm
Chamber
okay.
was trapped.
So dead.
And I literally was angry because the way he was talking to me was not nice. Are they getting carried?
Nice.
I am not cleaning this up.
Alright, bro.
Fucking Raze.
If they have girlfriends, I'm genuinely
Raise,
Raze,
surprised.
yo,
Alright,
Raze,
very
have you
good.
gotten a kill overtime? Have you gotten a single kill during overtime?
Have you ever thought about like how obnoxious your voice sounds? Like you sound like you literally.
Have you ever
My
thought
voice
about
sounds pretty
how
low.
annoying your
sound like a
existence is,
fucking
bro? Have
trans-
you thought about how disappointing?
Oh
your
yeah,
fans
and then
voice
now we're
is?
transphobic too.
Like,
Great. This is
Oh,
great.
we're phobic to everything.
Great. Great. This is
I'm
good
phobic
for your
everything,
career.
bro.
Great for
Yeah.
your career. I hope you lose out on opportunities for being this way.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
lose
you're
out
Not
on
on
opportunity,
opportunities,
bro.
bro. You're 13 and 22. All you do is lose
Lose out on
opportunities.
Yeah, keep going. What else? You gonna say slur? Let's hear it.
Yeah,
Let's
nigga.
say you're buddy.
Good. Good. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Building a
Goddamn
report
fat
right
well,
here.
I will,
Fire
bro.
back.
That's what you say. That's what you say at McDonald's too.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
See. One.
Spike down.
We have spike A's. Hold the spike.
Don't let it reunite. No, that's.
Spike
Oh,
it
it's been
down.
worse. I've had worse.
I'm gonna smoke it off. I'm gonna smoke it
This
off.
is nothing. These guys think they're eating with calling me whatever they're calling me. I can get with their dad right now if I wanted to.
Holy
They need to
shit.
calm. They need to calm themselves down. I'm entertaining them. That's the point.
I just got my head flicked onto it.
We're making content right now.
Switching sides.
The whole point is to. The whole point.
Ooh, hey, we know who says draw.
Hey, I didn't put the draw. I'm not a pussy ass
Ooh.
bitch like someone.
Everybody. And you
Grace,
also
maybe if
don't
you
weigh
weren't a pussy,
300.
You wouldn't be 13 and 23, bro.
Wait, Raze, you're gonna meet a 13-year-old boy as a 23-year-old woman? What
Wow.
the fuck?
Wow. She was talking about fathers. Now it's 13-year-old boys. Like, holy.
So you're overweight and a pedophile? Ah, not a good look, bro. Not a
Go
good
see.
look.
Go see. Go see. Go see. They're gonna be stacked today.
Overweight.
I'm a
ugly,
woman.
And a
I don't
pedophile.
know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Did mommy not love you growing up? I'm sorry. Genuinely, whatever it is,
It's
I
okay,
hope you
Riz, I
seek
know
help.
your
Like
dad
I
is-
do care. I do care about your guys' mental health. I
It's
hope you
okay,
get
it's
help.
okay, it's okay, it's
Like
okay.
genuinely.
I can hear it in your voice. Yeah,
Like I actually feel really bad for you guys.
It's okay.
Like
You don't need to cut yourself. It's okay.
I
You don't
know
need to
it
cut
must be
yourself.
hard, like not having any girls love you in the way you probably wish they could. But like you gotta start
I
with
know
you,
stink,
bro.
I
Like
know
you gotta
stink. I
start
know
with
were those
you.
sneaky-ass Minecraft
You
You
videos.
gotta love yourself, and then the right girl's gonna come along, and you won't have to hate on me anymore.
Can you
It's
shut
gonna
the
be
fuck up on my
happiness.
ears?
Your life expectancy is gonna go up. Your cortisol levels are gonna, you know, drop. You'll be fine. You'll be happy for once in your life. You don't want to play Valorant for the rest of your life, do you?
Why are you telling me about happiness? You're ugly as shit and you've been mad.
Get out of my ear, bro. I can't hear with your bitch ass in my ear, bro. Fuck.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like you, some of us are trying to win the game.
For real. 13 and 24. They're trying a lot of things, huh?
Keep it coming. Keep
You
it
should be a little bit
coming.
More like Haru, bro. Good at the game, chill guy, doesn't talk.
Yeah, for real. You should just keep your talking down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
24 is
on
crazy though.
yourself.
Have you ever thought about how maybe I'm intentionally
I hope
not
somebody comes
playing the
over
game
Try and
well?
lose a couple pounds too while you're at it. You know, you ever heard of a treadmill or the stairmaster?
You ever
Yeah.
heard of fentanyl? Maybe you need to try it, bro. Please, like.
Just low key, yeah.
On a live threats? Check. Homophobic? Check. Sexist?
Ah,
Check.
check.
Racism?
I get it,
check.
I'm fat as shit. Check.
Has no
I'm
respect
retarded.
for anyone?
Act
Check.
like you were cop.
Gets
Liberal,
mad at a
check.
woman? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what, you can't be mad at the
Like
woman?
that's okay, bro.
You can't get mad at the woman? You're so retarded.
Why
You're
do
so
you
stupid.
dislike so much?
I don't know. These insults just aren't hitting. You need to come up with something a little bit more creative. Like hit it where it hurts deep.
Suck
Okay.
my dick, bro.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
I don't know why they keep trying to offend me like this. Like I know I'm not ugly. Like come for something else. Come for something else. Like come at me for something else. I don't know.
GG's, bro. Fucking Raze ruined the whole game.
Yeah, maybe if you didn't keep talking to me, I wouldn't have lost the game.
Shut up, bro. Get out my ear.
Faggot, nigger, piece of shit, dude.
Alright, bro.
Alright, bro.
GG's. W teammates.
Get out my ear.
Kill yourself,
Get out
kill
my ear,
yourself,
nigga,
kill
get
yourself,
out my
kill
ear.
yourself.
Gladly.
Kill yourself, kill yourself.
Gladly.
I get
Kill
back.
yourself.
Gladly. In your honor, gladly. I don't know why they're saying that. I don't even know why they're saying that. Like, what? That's gonna make me sad. That was a crazy game. Whew. Best 28 RR I've lost in my life. What even? How did this even start? I don't know. Because they were talking to me crazy in the beginning. So I was like, don't talk to me like that. What? That's why I moved to Marvel? Marvel's no better. There's no place that's better. Balance just like that. Anyway, let's play another one, guys. GG's. W content. Let's get our 15 clips. I think that already right there was our 15 clips for the day. What do you guys think? Can't see it. No. Uh-oh, what happened to my hand camera? Sorry about that. Anyway, basically how it started was, I mean, I was just like, should I report them? Yeah, you're probably right. Let me see. You still low rank? Yeah. Solo Q Demon. Normally I play better than that, but I was honestly kind of distracted. I'm just gonna report him. I don't even want to give him a message. Report. Reported. I'm not gonna like fully. I don't know. It's just like I was just defending myself. That's what happens when you defend yourself, though, when you're a woman. All good though. Honestly, it doesn't make me too angry because I mean I'm used to it at this point. I just can't focus when it starts getting like that. Like I probably should mute them, but at the same time I was like, this is really good content. We gotta clip that for TikTok. No. It's because I got angry. Cause the reason it started was because Chamber got angry that I got angry. He was trapped in between a sage wall and a deadlock wall, and I was clearing the site. It was on Seaside where Waterfall is, and he was like, break it. He was like, you need to break it right now. And I was like, don't talk to me like that. The fuck. Anyway, and that's all that, and then that's what happened. I don't know. I'd have to look back to the VOD, but I watched a TikTok about how like not letting guys talk to you that way, and I was like, this guy cannot talk to me like that. So that's what happens when you talk, when you defend yourself and you talk. But all good. No worries. You think they're on alts? Probably. That is the toxicity of Valorant, you guys. But don't worry, I mean, sometimes it hurts my feelings, but today I don't really care. I just kind of like, it's whatever, like, surely, just let them, you know what I mean? Like, I just let them keep going, like, and I even was provoking them to say s'more slurs, you know why? Because I'm trying to get them banned. At the end of the day, the least I can do is one, in order to get revenge. I mean, it's not going to be vengeful, but I don't care. I like revenge. So I'll throw a game, which is why I stopped putting effort in. And I wasn't playing good there. It's whatever. Oh, and also the reason why they started hating on me was because I defended myself when Chamber was talking negative to me, and then I was also bottom frag, so that's what happens when you try to defend yourself. But it's fine. That's why you don't solo rank? Well, it's honestly, it's not always like this, but it's just, yeah. Yeah, solo queue's hard, but I don't care. You have friend group? No, I've gone to gold 2 without queuing with anyone. And it's fine, I deal with this hate all the time. Like, I'm a little bit, like, irritated because of, like, all the little slurs they were saying. And, like, I'm just like, wow. But not surprising, honestly. But, like, you shouldn't. I shouldn't what? Well, yeah, I mean, that's your choice. I don't mind solo queuing, honestly. No, I don't really care if games like this happen. I don't mind losing RR because I know I'm gonna gain it back. So it's not really gonna affect me. At the end of the day, if I want to rank up, you know, I will. It's what it is. Solo queue is not gonna stop me from getting a high rank. I think that if I get to like gold, high gold, yeah. You shouldn't have to open a game and then shit talk for playing how you play. I agree. But that's like, that's life. I don't know. I usually mute them, but this time they were actually being really aggressive, so I was like... This time I was like, oh, this is good content piece. This is good. This would make a good TikTok. Did not expect that. I didn't know I could provoke people like that just for defending myself, but... That's Valorant for you.